Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me this Sunday. I'm Frederica Whitfield. We begin this hour with the stage set for the second impeachment trial of Donald J. Trump. Tomorrow, House Democrats will ceremoniously walk over the article of impeachment to the U.S. Senate. And the trial is set to start the week of February 8th. This as we learn a new stunning report about Trump's desperate efforts to invalidate President Joe Biden's election victory. The Wall Street Journal reporting today that Trump pressured the Justice Department to file a case with the U.S. Supreme Court to overturn the election that Trump lost. Meanwhile, President Biden will begin his first full week in office facing unprecedented challenges as the U.S. surpasses the grim milestone of 25 million COVID cases.
I believe President Biden is making very clear the plane is in a nosedive, and we got to pull it up. And you're not going to do that overnight. But we're going to pull it up. We have to pull it up. Failure is not an option here.
So what is the plan to succeed? We'll have that in just a moment. But first, the latest bombshell report showing just how far former President Trump was willing to go to overturn his election loss. This coming one day after we learned Trump tried to fire the acting Attorney General Jeffrey Rosen if he didn't assist in overturning Biden's election win in Georgia. Let's bring in CNN crime and justice correspondent Chen摰Prokopets. So, Chen摰, what more can you tell us about this reported effort by Trump to overturn the will of the voters?
Yeah, and just continued examples of how the former president, would try to use the Department of Justice for political gain. What the Wall Street Journal is reporting that in the final weeks of his term as president, Trump tried to get the Justice Department to file a lawsuit with the Supreme Court, and in essence to try and overturn the election. The Attorney General at the time, William Barr, the Deputy Attorney General, who became the acting Attorney General, Jeffrey Rosen, and then the Solicitor General at the time, a man by the name Jeffrey Wall, all refused to do that. They all refused to take the case to the Supreme Court, arguing that they had no legal standing. There was nothing for them to argue. And also, the Wall Street Journal notes that even the president's own lawyers, the White House counsel team, also didn't agree with this move by the president. But again, Fred, of course, this all highlights how the former president attempted to use the Justice Department for his political gain.
And then, Chen摰, you know, there's more momentum in this investigation of the former president and the lengths that he was willing to go to undermine this free and fair election. What did the Senate Majority Leader Schumer say?
Right. In light of the reports, first reported by the New York Times, of the former president trying to fire the acting Attorney General, Jeffrey Rosen, and then, of course, this news from the Wall Street Journal, Senator Schumer there, the Democratic leader, is calling for the Department of Justice Inspector General to launch an investigation. Here's what the Democratic leader said.
What happened was just despicable. For the president to try and get an attorney general who will just totally lie about the results of the election. So I have asked for the inspector general to investigate what happened, and then we will follow up on that. The inspector general, I believe, he hasn't communicated to us, but I have good reason to believe he will go forward.
Of course, Fred, this all comes to, as all this comes to light, what more is there that we don't know about that went on at the Department of Justice? That is a big question. And the other thing, of course, that a lot of people are talking about is whether or not these efforts by the former president now somehow become part of the impeachment trial.
All right, we shall see. Thank you so much, Chen摰 Prokopets. Appreciate that. All right, so the U.S. Senate is set to hold their impeachment trial for the former president February 9th. And tomorrow the House will walk over the article of impeachment to the Senate, charging Donald Trump with incitement of insurrection for his role in that Capitol riot. And this will be the first time a former president will face an impeachment trial after leaving office. And today, one GOP senator made the case that the trial is constitutional.
The preponderance of the legal opinion is that a impeachment trial after someone has left office is constitutional. I believe that's the case. I'll, of course, hear what the lawyers have to say for each side, but I think it's pretty clear that the effort is constitutional.
All right, let's bring in Joe Johns now on Capitol Hill. So, Joe, any indication that Republican senators support this effort to convict the former president in this upcoming trial?
Fred, everything I've heard and seen suggests probably not, but that there is still a lot of time for some soul searching. This is really just the tip of the iceberg, what's going to happen tomorrow when those impeachment managers, 9 impeachment managers, walk over from the House of Representatives to the United States Senate to deliver and present that one article of impeachment. It's only 4 pages long, short and sweet. It does charge the president with incitement of insurrection and also points to the provision in the 14th Amendment of the United States Constitution, which disqualifies anyone who has engaged in incitement or rebellion against the United States from holding office under the federal government. And that is what Democrats say is the point. That's why they say they're going through this in the midst of the Biden first 100 days, his COVID plan, his nominees, and all the things he has to deal with. They say they need accountability on this issue, and they need to disqualify Donald Trump from running for future office. But that is going to require 17 Republicans to vote in favor of the removal of the president. Not clear at all that they're going to move to convict, at least at this stage. There's a lot of talk this morning on the Sunday morning shows. Here's a sampling of the pros and cons. Listen.
We got to do everything. I mean, this is not, you don't have the time to sit around, weeks on impeachment and not get vaccines into the arms of people. You don't have time to worry about vaccines and not deal with the fact that children in America are going hungry. We got to break through this old approach that the Senate takes years and years to do anything. We got a crisis right now. We can chew bubblegum and walk at the same time. The American people are hurting, and they want us to act.
First of all, I think the trial is stupid. I think it's counterproductive. We already have a flaming fire in this country, and it's like taking a bunch of gasoline and pouring it on top of the fire.
So here's the schedule as we have it. That article goes on display or exhibit tomorrow in the United States Senate. After that, a summons will be issued to the president the very next day. And the president's response is due in a week on February 2nd, along with the House managers' pre-trial brief. 1 week later, the trial begins. Back to you.
Okay, Joe. And again, you said with a conviction, you need the 17 Republican senators, that along with all Democrats, a 2/3 majority in order to convict the president. Thanks so much, Joe Johns. All right, now to the pandemic and yet another horrific milestone. The U.S. exceeded 25 million cases today. This as the Biden administration is getting ready to hold a call with a bipartisan group of senators on its $1.9 trillion COVID relief bill. Arlette Saenz is at the White House for us. So, Arlette, this call about to happen in about an hour or so. What is the White House hoping to accomplish at this meeting?
Well, Fred, this call is essentially the latest push from the Biden administration to try to get bipartisan sign-on into that $1.9 trillion COVID relief package. Brian Deese, who is the director of the National Economic Council, will be holding this phone call or Zoom call potentially with a group of about 16 senators. It includes Republicans and Democrats. Republicans like Senator Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, and Mitt Romney. And then on the Democratic side, you have Independent Senator Angus King, as well as Senator Joe Manchin participating. And this comes as there has been some Republican skepticism out there over passing another COVID relief package so soon after they passed that $900 billion package at the end of last year. But the president has made clear that he wants to ensure that there is bipartisan support for the bill that he's passing. That is his preference. And that is what White House officials are trying to work through calls like this and others that are happening behind the scenes. But in addition to this COVID relief package up on Capitol Hill, the Biden administration is also tackling the vaccination process. And one thing that White House officials say will be different under this administration is more participation and involvement from the federal government. And take a listen to Biden's nominee for HHS Secretary Xavier Becerra, who spoke with our colleague Dana Bash earlier today.